We have a Fed chair, unelected, appointed, not accountable to people. His name is Jerome Powell. And a lot of people have been very suspect of his monetary policy. He has declared that if Donald Trump asked him to step aside, that he would not do so.
Some of the president-elect's advisors have suggested that you should resign. If he asked you to leave, would you go?
No.
Can you follow up on, do you think that legally you're not required to leave?
No.
I don't think that should be his decision. Would President Trump have the ability to remove him?
President Trump certainly has a mandate that we've never seen before coming in from the American people coming into office right now. He's got a massive mandate. And the very foundation of this mandate, Sean, is a strong economy. A strong economy will beget our military being stronger, it'll beget our safety at our border, and certainly it will help us around the world with stronger diplomacy. And what President Trump is entitled to is to have everybody pulling the oars in the same direction to strengthen our economy. He should take a very hard look at the Fed. I can tell you, even beyond Chairman Powell, you've got Vice Chair Barr, who has very much overstepped his boundaries as the Vice Chairman of Supervision, stepping into regulatory arenas that are way outside of his mandate. This all needs to be reined in. Again, our economy is going to be the foundation of it. Getting back into the energy business again will be the foundation of it. But what we will see is a strong America. And as I say, everyone should be pulling in the right direction. That includes the chairman of the Fed.
This is why we need to continue to reset reality when Trump's version of it is spread by surrogates. Senator Bill Hagerty never said if Trump has the ability to remove Jerome Powell, but that he has a mandate and that everyone should just do whatever he wants. But he actually doesn't have a mandate, which is something Republicans claim they have every time that they win the White House.
If you look historically speaking, Donald Trump is now under 50% in the national popular vote, barely under 50%, but he is under 50%. And I want to take a look and compare his popular vote victory to those historically speaking over the last 200 years. His popular vote victory ranks 44th out of 51. That ain't exactly strong. Some might argue that is weak, weak, weak in the words of Tony Blair. In fact, his popular vote win at this point is the weakest going all the way back. You have to go all the way back to 2000 to find a weaker one, a smaller popular vote victory than Donald Trump currently has. So, yeah, Trump has won the popular vote, but it ain't all that, my dear friend John Berman.
You know, George W. Bush had a bigger popular vote in 2004. And if you're looking at a combination of popular vote and electoral college vote, look, Obama twice had bigger popular vote and electoral college vote victories.
And Joe Biden did as well.
The mandate conversation is just a rallying cry for people to claim that the nearly 76 million people that voted against Trump shouldn't have a voice in their country. It's no mistake that when Democrats win the White House, mandate is a bad word that conservatives are hell-bent against accepting. This is from Fox News' contributor Liz Peek in March of 2021, right after Biden beat Trump and MAGA's attack on the Capitol failed. Someone has told the president that he was elected by the American people to fundamentally change our country. He thinks he has a mandate, and that all that stands between him and success is a few ornery Republicans in the Senate who refuse to get out of the way. Correction. Biden believes that the only thing standing between him and greatness are cranky senators who do not see the United States as systematically racist, who don't believe in vastly expanding the welfare state, who think that individual creativity and achievement have built our great country, and who are absolutely positive that Democrats are leading us down a very dangerous path. Someone needs to interrupt Biden's afternoon nap and tell him the truth. He was not elected to, quote, get things done, as he claimed during his recent rare encounter with the media. He was not, quote, hired to solve problems. He was elected because he was not Donald Trump. This is not supposition. It's fact. More people voted against Donald Trump than for Joe Biden. That's the truth. Americans certainly did not deliver a mandate to enact a far-left agenda. They believed that Biden was a moderate because they had been told so by such eminent Democrats as Representative James Clyburn, who on that premise helped him win the pivotal primary in South Carolina. So let's keep it real. The drumbeat of shouting mandate is so important to the new administration because they need to convince Americans that they have this overwhelming support to implement the radical policies that a vast number of voters voted against.
The president has picked all the top jobs for the administration. We learned about Treasury Secretary nominee Scott Bessent, and now the labor position filled, OMB's filled with Russ Vought, who is really the architect of the idea of how to take these Schedule F employees and basically systematically remove them from, the federal bureaucracy. That's scaring a lot of bureaucrats in Washington tonight. your reaction to all of this news, but especially Vaught, given his plans for the federal employment, which is a lot of people could have to be looking for real work.
You see, before the election, Trump and friendly media figures like Laura Ingraham there denied any and all affiliation with people like Russ Vaught, who she just admitted is an architect of purging the government of employees and filling it with brainless yes men willing to do the bidding of one guy focused on making D.C. his own swamp of corruption. Remember, many folks were pointing out that Trump would in fact look to implement those plans from Project 2025, which Russ Vaught is an author of. But Ingraham tried to sanitize it so that no one would notice.
Look, Russ could not be a better pick. I know that he's not only an absolute patriot, but he's very serious about cleaning up D.C. And part of the problem that we're having is, again, these deep state bureaucrats that think that they can outlast administrations and the will of the American people. And so you have to get new blood into Washington, D.C. from the secretary positions to the federal jobs. I mean, we just need a flush all the way through. So I'm very happy that President Trump appointed him.
The narrative has shifted from rejecting the blatantly authoritarian plans detailed in Project 2025 and openly accepting them and several of its architects, despite Trump's constant distancing during the campaign.
Part of why it's so important to focus on OMB and Russell Vaught is, first and foremost, this gentleman literally was the architect of Project 2025. And not only did he write the chapter for the OMB for Project 2025, it is our understanding that he was the brains behind the operation and helped to bring together the vast Trump loyalists and conservative community to put that document together. Now, when I read that document, Project 2025, it reads as a transition document. And as a former OMB employee, that is clearly what it is. And so Donald Trump spent months trying to distance himself from Project 2025 on the campaign trail. But with this nomination, it's very clear that not only was he not aware of it and had never read it and didn't know what it was, literally the architect of it is coming in one of the most powerful positions in the White House to remake the federal government.
Again, I don't expect any of this blatant reality to convince anyone that unequivocally and blindly supports Trump to rethink their position, but to point out that we saw this coming, not because it was hard to discover, but because it was in our faces the entire time.
I expected to hear 10 more times from the rally, the president, distancing himself from the left's boogeyman of Project 2025.
Yeah. And you're not worried about that?
I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
He's running against a brand. He is not running against any people.
Okay.
He is not running against any institutions. It's interesting, he's in fact not even opposing himself to a particular policy. Yeah. He's been at our organization, he's raised money for our organization, he's blessed it from I remember walking into our last day in office and told him what I was going to do. So he's very supportive of what we do. If a battle plan is out there that will do what he wants, there are the people like me that have his trust that will be able to get it to him in whatever position we're at, or I could be at Center for New America, but the relationships will be there, the trust level will be there.
In other words, Trump wanted to consolidate power to do whatever he wants, but he still needed people that knew how to work the system to make it a reality. And the architects of Project 2025 keep finding critical roles in his administration despite his claims that he has nothing to do with them.
I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it.
This is a document I know nothing about. It's called Project 25. I heard about it a week ago and has nothing to do with me whatsoever.
I don't know what the hell it is. It's Project 25. He's involved in Project, and then they read some of the things and they are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme. But I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it.
Trump is now choosing several people connected to Project 2025 for key roles in his new administration, including that guy that you just saw in that video there, Russ Vaught, who Trump just moments ago announced as his pick to lead the Office of Management and Budget. As NBC News is reporting today, Trump's transition team is taking suggestions for potential hires from the extensive personnel database created by Project 2025.
I'll say it again. None of this is going to convince anyone that's been told that no matter how many times the president-elect lies to our faces, that he doesn't have Americans' best interests in mind. I mean, he himself said that the things in the manifesto are seriously extreme. So wouldn't it make sense to wonder why he's suddenly okay with appointing seriously extreme people to run the government? I mean, would MAGA supporters be okay with Joe Biden architects secretly talking about taking away government agencies' freedoms so that nearly everything that affects their lives is determined solely by him? They wouldn't, and they shouldn't, but they expect nearly 76 million voters to accept it all from Trump. All that's left is to see if they end up liking what they refuse to see.
80% of my time is working on the plans of what's necessary to take control of these bureaucracies. And we are working doggedly on that, whether it's destroying their agency's notion of independence. They're independent from the president.